So, hey, how about one of these SIXLEAFs? How about we check it in so we can check it out? Let's see what's in here. Let's get it out of this box and get an initial look at it. And then we'll disassemble it and check it in. Okay. Yeah, so I know what's up here. This is a SIXLEAF SL-14 in D2 steel. And two things attracted me to this knife. And one is that FRAG MICARTA. It's pretty cool. I like a grippy knife. So when I see that, yeah, it's like, yeah, well, I think I want to check that out. But of course, hey, I'm taking a run at these SIXLEAFs and seeing what they have to offer. And so my collection of these is growing pretty quickly. But yeah, I mean, really grippy. The other thing is, I like this flipper tab, man. I have a Gonzo knife that has a tab like that. Man, I just dig that knife, and so I like it. And it looks like already I can super fail that. But yeah, I mean, if I give it a little bit, it goes. I mean, the drop action is pretty solid. What about that fuller? A little spidey flick, no issues. What about a thumb? Yeah. I mean, all in all, and there's no jimping on it, so pretty easy to fail that, to like not to misfire it, and yeah, I don't know about all that. We may look at that and check that detent out while we're in there. Blade centered, I don't see any issues there. The pocket clip to me initially looks like it's going to run for sure. It's recessed and it's got crown screws. It's not down on the frag pattern, so maybe that's a good thing. We'll see. I mean, everything's working okay, but that detent's kind of weak, so we may address that when we get in there. Which, let's go do it. Yeah, so it's the SL-14 in D2 steel rattlesnake design. It's got this MICARTA frag pattern. Pretty cool. It's like burlap MICARTA. Alright, so it's another one of these where the screws go into the pivot shaft, I think, from both sides. Yeah. But it's only releasing on this from one side. Maybe if I take the tension off, it'll want to come out of there. And that's so much. Let's try getting these out and see if we can't have everything come apart. I mean, I don't see a lot of oil on it, so I don't know that we're going to be doing a lot of cleanup, but I do think it needs to be lubricated. So that allowed that scale to come completely off of there. There we go. I mean, it all feels kind of backwards to me. It's not coming off the way that I'd normally like it to. But that's okay. These barrel spacers, I mean, there's not really any oil hanging out here. So I don't think I'm going to make a big effort to clean everything. There's not a lot of wipe down here. But I do think that it needs some lubrication. So we're going to add some oil. It's been relief milled several places to reduce weight. It's not a super heavy knife, but it's over 4 ounces for sure it is. It's not a lightweight knife. I'd say it's a mid-sized knife to a large knife. I mean, it's a fair sized knife. It's going to give a 4-finger grip to all but maybe the absolute largest hands. And maybe even them. I'm pretty sure if you wear an extra large glove, you're going to be able to get a 4-finger grip on this knife. It's pretty big. All right, we're all cleaned up. Let's put it back together. And this is a legitimate budget knife. When I tell you what I paid for this, you're going to understand what I'm talking about. Yeah. A very legit budget knife. Yep. And so in the end, if it runs well, right? If it functions well, and the steel's not garbage, I mean, it says it's D2, but if the steel's not garbage and it runs well, and it's not going to fall apart in my hand, I mean, it could be a good buy. Because not all knives need to be high-end knives. Sometimes you just need a junker. You know, you're going down to brush hog or on the tractor or whatever, and you need a knife. Well, I'm not taking my best knife into that environment. I mean, truthfully, I'm not even taking a good knife. I'm just taking a sharp knife, if it's me. A sharp, decent knife. What am I forgetting? I feel like something's missing. That's a lanyard hole. So, no, I'm good. There we go. Just needed to tell it who's boss. I take that back. I didn't mean one word of that. At least until we're complete. You know, once we're completely put together, and then I'll rethink whether I meant it or not. Yeah, there's nothing worse than bad-mouthing it and then getting jammed in your place real quick before you're done. And then you're like, oh, I should keep my mouth shut, man. Talking smack, and I didn't quite get out of the chow hall. Should just minded my business, kept my head down, ate my applesauce. But then again, I'm stupid. I'm probably going to say something. I'm probably going to speak out. Find myself in a situation. These were really loose. So, I mean, great example of why you should check in a knife. Just check your screws, make sure everything's tight. So this pivot's way tighter now than it was before. So let me check blade play. Tight, tight, action solid. Yeah, I'm going to leave it right there. I backed it off a little bit. I don't need it to guillotine and cut my finger off. Truthfully, it's probably helping that detent a little bit. Now that I have it back together, I remember that I was thinking about doing something to that. I think I'm just going to leave it be. It's running okay. I mean, I'm not expecting the world out of this knife. It's 100% a budget knife. So the action is really good. I mean, it's really good. The detent's kind of weak, but it's not causing me to fail the knife in any way. If I use this fuller with the Spidey flick or my thumb, which I have preference over, perfect. If I use that back flipper, I just need to light switch it. If I light switch it, it's going home. Yeah, no worries. And the action is just smooth, man. Ergonomics. So this is a confident grip right here. All that frag pattern, look at it, it's leaving a mark. I mean, it's sharp. It's making contact, man. It is creating a really good grip. It's got some jimping on the back of the spine right here that the thumb rests naturally on. Man, this is a confident to very confident grip. It's a super nice grip, nice and pointy. You know, this knife could be absolutely deployed for self-defense purposes, no doubt about it. And I hope you know when you're hearing that. And I'm not saying, hey, this is my self-defense knife recommendation. I'm not saying that at all. I mean, I have way better knives that if I needed to purpose out a self-defense knife that I could go to. So I'm not saying in any way, hey, this is in my top 10 list or my top 50 list for self-defense knife. I'm simply saying if this was in my pocket, for whatever reason, I had a budget knife in my pocket, it happened to be this knife, and a situation arose where I needed to use my knife as a self-defense weapon, this knife could serve in that capacity. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, it qualifies, in my opinion. Not everybody's opinion, but in mine. Whatever. Can I choke up? I can choke up on this. Yeah, there's a spot here to get up, and it's got a secondary tip right here. So you can use that spot as a tip to cut with, no doubt, and you've got the other tip. Yeah. So ergonomically, man, it's a great grip. Pocket clip is high in the palm where it belongs. You know, yeah, that works. And that frag pattern, look at my hand. And to me, I want a knife to do that. I don't need a baby knife. You know, like I can grip it softly if I'm just cutting boxes open or whatever, but if I got to get a grip on it, I want that frag pattern to get a grip, and it definitely does. Me personally, if I was going to design frag, it'd be this right here. I've got so much frag that's kind of useless that it makes me go, well, what was the purpose of that? Like, if I got a knife that's frag, I want to be able to grab it and go, you know, if my hands are wet or slippery or slicked up by whatever liquid, I want to be able to grab on and maintain my grip, you know. I want to maintain. So, yeah, I'm digging this frag on this. It's aggressive, and I like it. Let's check the pocket clip. I don't think it's going to have any issues. Nope. Bam. And almost completely invisible. Just got the little tip sticking out right there. But, yeah, that's money. I mean, to be honest, I might even just take it off and put a little more tension on it, because when I get to the thinner stuff, yeah, it's going to be loose in the pocket. So hang tight. So I'm usually not much about fixing knives in my reviews, because to me it's more about, hey, when I got the knife, this is what I got, and this is what you can expect. I keep it pretty simple. There's just kind of stuff that I'm looking for: the clip, the grip, the action. You know, I don't care really how it measures or weighs, or, you know, if it's heavy, super heavy, or super light. I may get into some of that. But I don't make a lot of repairs. But this was an easy one, and I noticed it early on. And so it's silly for me not to stop the video for literally a minute. It didn't cost you any time at all, because we're back. But all I did was put a rag over it and then pinch that down a little bit and create some tension. So I created a lot of tension. We'll see what I did to it. But these are my little Knipex. And man, they're bomb for working on knives. I can make them that big, so they can go really big, but you depress that button and then you can make them just tiny, just the tiniest little grip. But for as small as they are super tough. I dig them. There's a link down below to buy these on Amazon if you're interested. But yeah, I use them a lot. They come in really handy. I've got my little lineman's pliers too, and I like those as well. But those Knipex, man, they're stout. All right, same material. We cleared it, and we're in. Now you can feel that frag pattern kind of bunch up a little bit, but not bad. There's just good tension on it. Now I should have tension here too, in the thinner pocket. I do. Like, that's going to stay where you put it, and it wasn't going to before. So this outside right-hand rear pocket is where I carry a knife. And so I like to run it there and see how it's doing. And I'm confident with the grip of that if I put it there and I'm rolling around on the ground or whatever, that if I reach for this, it's going to be where I left it. Yeah, there's plenty of grip there. So that pocket clip's pretty cool. It works. It just needed an adjustment. For whatever reason, that wasn't very tight. But now it's tight. Safety. Can I contact that blade? I already know I can't. Just looking at it, it is way down there. What about the tip? Oh, come on, man. Really? Whew. It's so frustrating for me. Just the basics, man. Yeah. I mean, so if I just reach in there, I can touch that. Now, it's a fail. You can touch, hey, FY, on this knife, you can touch this tip. It was manufactured and or designed with a tip that's not protected in the handles when you put it in your pocket. Man, that's it. That's a statement right there. So, profiling that out of it or whatever, hey, I don't know nothing about that. What I can tell you is that the knife that I got, this one right here, this SL-14, is either designed with a flaw or manufactured with a flaw. And the flaw is that the blade's made too big so that the tip sticks out of the end of the handles so that you can cut yourself on the tips. If you reached into your pocket, this was hanging in your pocket, and you reached in right there, you could cut your finger. And to me, that's unacceptable. It should never happen on a knife. If it was a fixed blade knife that came with a sheath and part of the sheath provided contact with the tip, it would be totally unacceptable. Well, it ain't no different for a pocket knife. The only reason I even explain that is because I find so many of these knives with exposed tips or exposed blades through the backspacer, they're just not paying attention. I don't know if they're not knife people, like they don't get it. Like none of these people that are involved in any of this stuff, the designers, I mean, listen, man, hey, Rattlesnake, I'm sorry, brother, but you designed it. So are you not paying it? Do you carry a pocket knife? Do you want a knife in your pocket that you can touch that tip and cut your finger open? Man, I don't get it. So maybe you're designing it properly and they're manufacturing it wrong. And if that's the case, well, man, you should step up and say, yeah, man, it's those guys. Or maybe the dollar's so good that you just let them keep making them wrong. I don't know, man, but I'm just stunned at how many of these knives I find with this flaw from two manufacturers, brothers and sisters. These guys and their big brother Tucson. Like, I don't find this problem with other manufacturers. It's with these guys. And so, I don't know. The only thing I can think is they don't carry knives, man. I don't know. Stunning, but it's the second time in a really short period of time that I'm ranting about it, but two different manufacturers. But I'm going to summarize. So the pocket clips are passed, the backspacers are passed, nice and safe. There's no backspacer, but you can't contact that blade. It's tucked in there well. But the tip on this is exposed, and you could cut yourself on it, and that's a fail. So be forewarned, man, if you're going to buy this knife or we're thinking about buying this knife, that you could cut yourself with it. Unintentionally, no matter how safe you are, you could reach in your pocket and go, oh, what was that? And then pull your finger out and it's sliced open. Is it sharp? Let's see. It's hard to move on, man, when I keep finding that. It just, I just get fixated on it. Yeah, so the blade's plenty sharp. Yep, wonderfully sharp. Came from the factory like that. I haven't stropped that blade, done nothing. And out of the factory, it's got a really good edge. So price and availability. So this, like other SIXLEAFs, they run two ways. If you look down below, there's a link. You can go to eBay, click that link. It'll take you there and show you all of the SIXLEAF knives, whether it's from the one seller or the other seller, because there's like two sellers. And then if anybody's selling one from the secondary market, a used knife, it'll be in that link as well. And so this particular knife, if you buy it from the fixed auction, it's going to cost you quite a bit more than potentially you could buy it from the live auction. And so I'm kind of a broken record with these SIXLEAFs and letting people know that. But I bought this at a live auction for $15. So is it worth $15? Hey man, even with the tip, I love the FRAG pattern so much that me personally, I'm probably going to try to profile that and get that down. But not everybody has the equipment to do that. And if you don't and you buy this knife, just be aware, man, that tip could bite you down here. So there we are, the SL-14 D2 steel micarta, burlap micarta, with a frag pattern. Pretty cool, man. I mean, it's a way cool knife, and I only paid $15 for it. It's way at the low end of my budget knives. So anyways, I appreciate you watching.